See, it is important that we consciously begin to worship the Father. And in that place of worship, we come into the awareness of our oneness with Him. And so, as you begin to worship the Father, your heart is expanding to the awareness of who the Father is within you. And as you begin to behold, you begin to consciously come into certain things in God that is meant for your season. And so it is important that we consciously worship the Father. So when we are in every part of every meeting, it's important. Every part of the meeting is important. And what happened is that I think I've said it here without number, that every time you worship God, we are trying to bring you into a certain level of awareness, so that when the word is coming, you will be able to interact with it at that height. So in our place of worship, we are worshiping as one man, and our worship is from the place of that oneness. And so everything I am saying, even if I am not talking, you are understanding, because we are the same height. So the Father's desire is your desire, and the desires of the Father in my heart has become your desire. And so everything that I'm saying, I may be speaking another language, but because we are the same frequency of love, we are able to comprehend everything that is coming from within us. Just like I am the one here, there are certain communications of the Father that can proceed from you to me, and then I will begin to lay hold of them. Although I'm the one standing here, but because we are in the same frequency of love, and because we are the same height in love, we are able to understand ourselves. This is the essence of fellowship. That when we gather, we are able to become one body, one corporate persona, and then we are able to check the heart of the Father, and we're able to bring out His desire. Worship is a form of priesthood too, because as we begin to release the energies of God, every atmosphere begin to conform to that desire in the Father's heart. And so you must not take any part of the meeting carelessly. Every part is important. The funny thing is that certain persons, their soul are conformed to sound. So many times it will not even be a place of prayer that they are able to comprehend and raise their vibration in consciousness to that height. It is the place of worship. So you must understand that fellowship, worship is as important as every part of the meeting. And so you must take it seriously. Because everything that we are doing here, either as teaching, as worship, as song, is so that we come to a certain level of awareness. So your whole comprehension may not be maybe during the meeting. You may not even be able to raise your vibration during the meeting, because the minister is already high when he's coming, and so he is speaking from an height. So sound is very important. That is why we always say height and sound. There are certain level of height that you have. A worship leader must be able to bring everyone that he is. You see, we don't really understand what worship means. That's why when we come before the Father, it is looking like it's one man that is doing the whole work. No, it is supposed to be a corporate affair. And so when I'm here, you are there. There are certain sounds that I'm not able to pick, but because you don't have the utterance to pick out those sounds. But because we are the same level of vibration in love, it is releasing from you. You may not be saying it out, you will not be releasing it out. But because we are in that same level of frequency, I'm able to hear you. So I pick the sound and I release it. So this is the essence of worship and fellowship. You must take every part of the meeting serious. And the funny thing is that during that place of worship, pictures will begin to form. You begin to realize how united you are with the Father, how much of oneness you have with Him. Certain things will begin to open up. In fact, there are certain things that concern the territories. And so, as you begin to release those sounds, those creations will begin to conform to those sounds. It may just be. But as you are on that sound, certain things begin to change. It's ordinary sound that you are releasing. But beyond that sound, there are realities, there are communications that are going on. There are certain things that are being tweaked. There are certain restorations that are going on. And so every part of the sound that comes from within you is to bring a certain level of restoration to creation. Every level of sound that proceeds from within you is to conform certain part of creations to the awareness of the Father. So we must be conscious and deliberate when we worship. Last night we spoke about priesthood and technology, and I showed about that every part of this is they are one spirit. It is one spirit. It is a tool in the hands of the Father to reveal to reveal the Father's desires through generations. And so every time the Father is interested in releasing certain part of his dimension, after man fell, he looks for a man who will carry his sounds and release it into the generation. And so one man will come and we embody the sound of the Father that he has been able to apprehend. This is what we call call. So God will call Ezekiel and say, Ezekiel, I look for a man who will stand in the gap. That is a certain sound. And that is petition that the Father wants to release into the territory, into the generation. And so God will look for a man who will embody that sound. He will be the embodiment of that sound. And so when he begins to speak, he is not speaking of himself, he is speaking the desires of the Father. And so I told us that priesthood is consciously giving body to the Father's desire. And so when you come and you begin to release certain sounds, you are giving expression to the Father's desire, find access here. And so we consciously said here yesterday that in priesthood, every part of your action is important. And so when God, and that on the seventh day, God rested so that man can consciously begin to take action. So the work of creation was now handed over to man. And I showed us yesterday how that there are certain things that the Father was left. Those things were not on earth. I showed us in Genesis chapter 2 verse 5 yesterday. How that there are certain things that were not on earth. But by the result of man's priesthood, he is able to bring out those things from the heart of the Father and release it into generation. And so we must be conscious of many things. I was telling him this morning that many things that this is what we call oneness. Many things that I was wanting to talk about, as I was thinking them, he was releasing it. I came to understand that as I was in my room after we finished listening. As I lie down, I begin to Father begin to take me to certain journeys, and I begin to see how I don't want to use the word dead spirit. How deliberate is, how deliberate the Father is in bringing man back into the awareness of him. Do you know the level of humiliation that the Father went through as a man? Just take it as, for example, take a journey and become an ant, and then as an ant, just the ants that you step on every day and kill without even knowing. Then just take, for example, the Father went through that process, and then he came as flesh, as a normal man, and then he went through the same process. Someone that just by thoughts he can eliminate you, and then you spirit on him. You just take the journey. There was a communication that the Father was trying to reveal to man. On the cross, the system of the cross was to reveal to man how deliberate, how intentional the Father is in bringing man back into the awareness of him. And to show us how deliberate the Father is. The Father wanted to also show us that this assignment is a collective assignment. It's not a one-man assignment. I hope you know that at the time that Jesus ascended, he could have waited on earth and bring restoration, complete restoration. But he left. Because he wants everyone to be able to conform into that same standard. of consciousness. And so the work of creation that man was designed to bring will begin to come into fruition, because man has now come into the awareness of his oneness with the Father. And so, okay, tonight I'm going to be talking about priesthood in art and entertainment. You see, you would have, if you look through the scriptures, you will discover that from the very beginning, even through the fall of man, it has been a war of image. He was talking about this, but from the very beginning, it was a war of sound and sight. From the very beginning. And so when man has created God, like I said yesterday, he placed the sound of his desires as sound in the heart of man. And so when man begins to release the sounds, the certain desires that the Father wants to bring into the territories will begin to be released through man. And then those desires, because man was been given the head, he is able to give bodies to these realities, these desires, these intentions in the Father's heart. And I showed us yesterday how that prayers, priesthood, and prophecy are the tools to bring out the realities of God, the desires of God, the intentions of God. And so every part of this process, every process in this regard is important. And when you look at the seven influence, the seven spirit of influence, the seven tools of influence, the seven tools that the Father is, see, every part, he was saying in the morning, everything that happened on earth, everything. Many times you look at it and we're like, why are you doing like this? Follow me now. Follow me. So when you look at everything that is happening on earth, you will realize that every part of the process is known by him. He is aware. And so we spoke on lengthily in the morning about how that Satan is also part of others too. And so every creation is part of that which the Father wants to do. They look like this one is evil, they look like this one is good, but there is a reason for everything. You cannot, what word will I use? There's no how intelligent that you are that your intelligence will go above the root of all intelligence. So every actions that the Father is watching takes place, it is deliberate. And so, like I was saying, from the very beginning, it has been a war of sound and sight. A war of sound and perception. And the Bible begins to talk in the book of Genesis how that when man fell, the Lord came again as usual to fellowship with him in the evening, in the cool of the evening. And when he came, he said, Adam, where are you? Where art thou? And the man said, Lord, I was naked. I discovered that I was naked, and so I hid myself because I was ashamed. There was a discovery. He saw that he was naked, sight, and so he hid himself. There was a projection of an image, and if you look at the book of Genesis chapter 1, you discover that the Bible said Adam was already naked at this moment. But there was another image that was projected to him, and so he accepted it. And he become it. And so our warfare, our restoration is a projection of image, a projection of consciousness to creation. Creation is living on a false reality, in a false reality. Creation is living with a false identity. And so we need to begin to come up as men and bring creation into the awareness of the image that they are meant to be. There was an image in the heart of the Father. I told us yesterday. There was a blueprint. There was a picture. There was a picture in the heart of the Father when He created man. And so when man interacted, there was a distortion. And so man interacted with an image outside the one he is designed to be. And if you look through dispensations in time, you will discover that every time that the Father is interested in introducing a new dimension of himself into the head, he looks for a man who will carry his sound. And if you look at the book of Acts chapter 2, the Bible begins to say how that in the upper room there came a sound from heaven. And so sound is one of the vital tools through which the Father releases his desire to the head. And sound is also a tool that spirits can use to birth their civilization in the head. And so we must pay attention to every sound that comes to us, because sound is a civilization, a dimension of spirit. And so when a man embodies a certain sound of the spirit, he begins to manifest the essence of the spirit. And you see, the satanic structure is very progressive. From generations past, Satan has been using sound as his tool to traffic and releases his essence through man. And so from generation to generations, he look for a man who will carry his sound. And so he will be the one who will pioneer his sound and begin to release it into territories. And so the territory will begin to conform to his sound. And the funny thing is that Satan does not look for men without potential. He looks for men who are gifted and talented. And you look at the book of Daniel. How that Bible said, the king, I said, gather unto me Hebrew boys who are well knowledgeable in science, in all sorts of arts, because it is a war of image, and only potential men can embody sounds. So you must begin to look at sound from the perception that it is a tool, a very vital tool in expressing the Father's desire. So it is not about being able to sing lyrics, but that when you begin to release the sound, there is a life that is pulsating from within you, and it begins to conform creations. And so because of an image that Adam interacted with, creation begins to conform to another image outside the blueprint that the Father has designed. So image, sight, is as important as sound. And the Lord and the Father began to ask Adam, who told you? He heard a sound, and then an image was formed in his mind. He said, and I saw that I was naked when the sound came. And it continued in the book of Acts chapter 2. He said, and this, when the sound has come from heaven, he said it came with a cloven tongue. So from generations past till now, from the very beginning of mankind, it has been a warfare of sound and sight. And when Lucifer was about to fall, the Bible began to talk and said, he said, I will look. So the conformity of a man and the distortion of a man begin from embodying certain sounds. So don't look at sound as something irrelevant for pleasure. Sound was what resulted into the fall of mankind. And so sound is also what will result into the restoration, full restoration of mankind.
And so we must take sound seriously. And that is why every word that proceeds from you is designed to be able to bring creation into the certain awareness of Father's desire. There is a desire in the Father's heart. There is a picture that the Father has in his heart for every creation. And those pictures, he has placed them in your heart. And so when you begin to behold, you begin to come into the awareness of these pictures, and you begin to bring creations into the awareness of these things. It is a wall of protection, a wall of image, a wall of sounds. And so you will look at every part of creation, even during technology period. You will discover that when Noah was about to create the ark, the Bible every deliberate action that Noah took in building the ark was accurately seen by him. The very size of everything that he would use, the exact size was revealed to him. Because there are certain things that need to come into place so that these things there will be an alignment to create a spirit portal through which these men will be able to do certain spirit business. So when the sounds, when the pictures came to Noah, the exact size of wood that he would use for the door, the exact size of wood that he would use for the windows, the exact size of wood that he would use to take the floor, everything was accurate and exact. Because a man was able to look into the heart of the Father and behold the exact picture. So at every dispensation in time, there is a picture that the Father placed in the man's heart, so that he would be able, when he has now, what sounds and pictures does is that when you begin to come into the awareness of these sounds and see these things, you will now become an accurate witness. So when you are faced with certain things and they begin to ask you, who is this your God, that we might obey him? Because you have become an accurate witness, you will be able to say, this is my God, I am has sent me. Because there is an image that you have embodied. So the only way to accurately wield the rod of Moses is that you come into the awareness of there are certain skills, there are certain sights, there are certain perceptions that you need to have. And there are certain sounds that are attached to this perception. There are certain energies that you need to come into the awareness of, so that when you hold this rod, you will be able to know which sounds to release to make it become snake. You will be able to know which sound to release to make it pass the Red Sea. It is a war of sound. And so Moses will go to Pharaoh and say, let my people go, because he has behold a sound in God. And so he is coming. It was not his sound. It was the desire of the heart of the Father that he is bringing and saying, let my people go. Now Moses become the people. Many of those people that were in those periods were even his grandfather. But because he was carrying an ancient sound, he was carrying an ancient desire, he came and to be a representation of a sound. So a witness is one who has embodied a sound and is bringing it to every generation. So there is a sound that you carry within you presently that a generation needs to conform to. And so every sound that comes per time, per season, is meant to bring creation into certain awareness, to conform to certain things in God. And so you must learn the art of releasing sounds. You must learn the art of paying attention to the sounds that come to your heart. Because the sounds that you listen to will determine the spirit that you represent. So many times the several actions that you take is because you have conformed to certain sounds. And so you listen to certain Bob Marley songs, and then you come because you have it was not only a sound that you listen to, you also give expression to an image. So you saw when everybody was smoking, you did not pay attention to it. Before you know it, there is this strong desire to smoke coming from you. So every part is important. That is why many times you will see that these guys, they will, after they have done this song for us, they will give us the music video. They will give us the music video because they need you, they want you to see. So you will not just hear alone. Since maybe some of us are not able to create pictures in our heart, so they will help us create pictures. All of these things that you are seeing, see, the satanic structure is very deliberate. We said it in the morning. He is a faithful steward. He is very consistent in his work. He does it like his life depends on it. And so, even if he was not called to the meeting, as the sons of God gathered, he came and said, he wanted to be noticed, so he began to move to and fro. And so the Lord began to ask, Satan, where have you been? He said, I have been going to and fro of the earth. I have been doing spirit business. And as he's going to and fro, he's releasing images, sounds. And so some certain men who because there are certain desires in their heart, they begin to track this sound, track this image, track this sound, track this image. So you think man just came and he just come into some certain song. The funny thing is that the song that he's releasing may not even make sense. But you just sit down as you are hearing the beat, start on beat. Your leg is just shaking. You don't want to listen to the song, but because of certain things have been done. Because a man has sat down and allowed himself to trap certain spirit sound, and so he comes and he begins to someone just me. So he begins to give you those things, and then you begin to you are a Christian. You pray song very well, but before you know it, the leg will just be moving. So it's not from the leg. After you have been for like 1 week. Pastor will be just you don't know it will come out of your mouth. Someone just in you. That is how it needs to start. He is very deliberate with these things. This is the way of education. How does a teacher teach a student? He comes and then he writes, you see, he speaks, and you hear. So from the beginning, whether the education here, whether the religious here, is a war of sound and image. Yeah. So you must not just be on I'm a believer, I cannot sing this song. You will not know. When you begin to hear, your soul is designed to trap sound. Yes. And so your soul at then is always active, looking for sounds. That's why you enter certain territories and then you suddenly feel that you are depressed. It is because a sound is working in territory. The territory have been cultured and conformed to certain sound, and because your soul have been designed to trap sound, as you enter that territory, your soul begin to come into the awareness of the sound. And so you don't wish to look at the woman twice. You enter a territory, something just happened. It will just happen. You discover that when you enter certain territories, the first time I entered Mina, I think I've put a book about this. I used to have cash very well, but immediately I entered, it was just like certain gates were locked. Yeah. Because there are certain operations, there are certain seals that have been released, their sound to make certain things happen in the land. And so the people of the land have conformed to the culture of the sound. And so when you enter that territory, you enter the territory, you enter the energy, so you come into the consciousness of that sound. And suddenly you begin to discover that some certain ideas that come when you're outside the place begin to look distorted. Then you that used to have 50K in your account, sometimes you see 1K will be hard, because there are sounds that are consistently being serviced by certain priests. So you need Muslim guys every night 3 a.m. they are releasing sounds. And so the atmosphere of these people are conforming to certain sound. These people, many of these guys understand the way of sound. It's people believers that we have not begun to come into their awareness that sound is meant to conform territories into the awareness of God. And so it's not that you are able to gyrate to the things, but that when you begin to dance, even dance, when you begin to release certain moves, you are beginning to release the sounds via your body.
Yeah.
So it was Prophet Chuck I was telling this how that these guys they are so deliberate that there's hardly any of them that don't have a TV. Even if you don't have a TV, you have a phone. If you don't have a phone, you enter the street, you will hear sounds. If you don't have it, you will just see it will even go worse, you will see billboards. So you will see one of these, either you hear sounds or you see image. One of them will happen. And it's very easy to dance this dance. So you see a dance was introduced into a territory, and as people begin to dance it, certain culture, certain civilization begin to grow wide.
Yes.
It is just an ordinary dance step, but you don't know that there are certain spirit civilizations that are being released as you move your body, because you have given your will to certain spirit. And so the spirit can now find access into the head realm. And so it's time that we believers begin to consciously trap sound in God. Every of these sound that you have, release it via your mouth, release it via your body, so that the territories can begin to consciously conform into the image that the Father has in mind. And so the Lord will call forth what is that his name again? This guy who crafted out things for Moses. Is it Belial and and so this the Father will call them and he will pick out certain sounds and release it to their heart. And so these men, because they are intelligent men, spirits are very deliberate and very faithful when they see potential men. And so spirit will not just pick any man. Spirit will look for certain men who are skilled.
Yeah.
So one of the criteria for spirit to find expression through you is that you must have certain things that you are good in. And so you will see that what you are good in is you are naturally good in dancing. So the spirit will look at you, look at your soul, and then you will play certain dance steps. Then as you begin to release those steps, you begin to release the civilization of the spirit into the territory. And so a generation consciously is beginning to conform to certain essence of spirit as you give yourself to the dance. And so you will discover that as you begin to sing certain songs, I think what I was telling, how does someone just sat down and begin to, okay, I think it was Pastor Chuck, how does someone just sat down and begin to sing adulthood and scam? These things are deliberate. What you will discover is that as you begin to consciously sing this song, you will come to the awareness of that nobody go ask you if you don't chop. Truly, nobody go ask you. Because you have believed it. You have taken it as your consciousness. My brothers used to ask me whether I don't chop. So if your problem is a family problem. When you sang that song, that's a family problem.
Yes.
That is the problem. That is the truth. And so it will now happen. You will now accept it as ordinary song. Now let me try it to you. Every sound is to give you a consciousness.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so Nebuchadnezzar is a very sound priest. He said, gather for me certain persons like this. And when they have gathered, he said, for 10 days, create an image of the king, a graven image of the king. For 10 days, you will only bow down and worship. A fellowship is going on, and so the people will begin to conform to certain things. And so the only person that they will give their allegiance to is the king. After the 10 days, because an image has been created, and so there are certain spirit civilization, and as you begin to worship this spirit with a consciousness, a will, you begin to discover that certain things will begin to affect you. You don't discover that so much suddenly you are loyal to the king. But there were certain men in the land who understand that every part of the picture is important. These men understand that the image and the sound, they are as important. And so they said, "Oh king, we know that you are king, and we know that you own the land. But in this regard, we will not bow." And then they continue. They said, "Even if this is our God, we know that our God will save us." We know there was a knowing, there was a perception. There must have been something that happened before they said, "We know." It was not just they just woke up and say, "We know." There are certain sights, that there are certain sounds, there are certain sights that they have come to the windows. There are certain things that they have seen in God that make them begin to say, "We know experientially that our God will save us." But even though He would not, we choose not to bow. Because they understand that immediately they bow to this image, they have given their consciousness, they have given their allegiance to enact certain spirit civilization in the head realm. So we know that this our God will save us, because He knows that when we bow to this spirit, we give our allegiance to this king completely. We give our allegiance to everything that the king submits to. I was saying it. If you can begin to invite comedians to crack certain jokes in the church, why can't you invite certain dancers that begin to release street dance in the church? Why can't you come consciously and begin to create certain spirit-filled images that the student will just watch, and it is just like images that they will just begin to of heavens and hell. These students, when they have come to the witness of this image for like 2 days, coming to this image for 2 days, they will begin to dream and see angels. And so what happens when you begin to give attention to certain images, that the image begins to expand with your heart. And so a small kid, many of them cannot even read A to Z, but they are very good in trapping the sound. Some of them can sing some of the songs from A to Z, but they can't even read the letter A to Z. There is a spirit behind every sound. There is an essence that is being released behind every sound. So the spirit will help you with the advertisement. Sometimes you yourself, you have listened to certain songs, you have heard them, and when you look at them, this song does not make sense. But thousands of people are singing these songs. What happened? This is to show you how progressive these things are. It was progressive. It started from somewhere. It gave you one first. You think although he's coming from another person, but it's still the same sound. So this person will come with his own sound. He has going to trap that sound, and he release it. Then they will release it downstairs with it. Give you a picture with it. After that one is gone, and that one will come, and we'll do it. And then we'll do it. And we'll do it. And you do it. Before you know it, a generation is conforming to certain things. And so, art and entertainment is a very important tool in releasing Father's desire to the head. Sight and sound. So God will look at Jeremiah and say, Jeremiah, come. I need to show you certain pictures. Because the next assignment that you need to carry out, you need to conform to certain images. So that when you begin to talk, you are not talking as someone who just heard from somewhere. You are talking as a witness. And so God will call Moses and say, Moses, I want to send you to Egypt to bring out my people, my chosen people. And Moses will be like, oh God, you know I am a man of, I stammer a lot. I'm not fluent in speech. But the father will say, no. Why? Look at Aaron. Aaron is very fluent in speech. Aaron is able to release my sounds. But the father will say, no. I have checked your soul and I have seen that your soul is designed to trap this sound and bring it to these chosen people. Let Aaron be the one that will assist this work with you. And so, because Aaron was not a witness, he only got second-hand news. Moses slapped the sound from heaven and give it to Aaron, and so Aaron released it. And the Bible said, and he has made Moses a god over. The word God there is the word custodian. So every sound that Moses slapped in God, he will release it. And then, because he said he cannot release the sound as well, he will give it to Aaron, and Aaron will release it. So he was a god over Aaron. Because Aaron was a prophet. He was receiving second-hand news. Moses was tapping the sound and giving it to him. So he is not the real witness now. And so during the inception of the church, because the father is deliberate about these two called sight and sound, he gathered them in the upper room. There was a picture they were beholding.
Yeah.
He said they gathered because of the promise. There was a promise. And so they pay attention to the promise because the father said there would be rain. And so they were waiting, looking up and expecting this promise of the father to come. And so as they begin to wait, they begin to give access to certain spirit reality. Because even father knows. So before he left, he said, I am coming. So he gave them a sound. I am coming. And so that sound will now give access to the spirit revelation that God wants to release to come. And so when the father wanted to introduce the church to the head, the Bible said, and Peter said, you are Christ, Son of the living God. And Jesus said, flesh and blood did not reveal this to you. There was a sight. There was a picture that Peter saw. So the inception of everything always begins from sight and sound. So you don't discover that your children are doing certain things. It is because they are giving an expression to certain sounds and things that they have seen. So we must begin to create spirit sound, divine sounds. So we must pay attention. We must be very aware. We must be conscious of every sound that comes to us. And like I said, spirit sounds, if we are going to be able to bring out spirit sounds, God is looking for skillful men. So there may be a sound that the Father has designed that you will release. But because you are not skillful enough, you are not able to bring out the full essence of the sound. And so you need skill too. The pastors that are giving expression to certain spirit cities that are not of God in certain territories, these men, they have certain gifts and talents.
Yes. Yes.
So the father, the Satan will look at them because he has seen that this person is very good in administration. He will now say, Kai, if I release my son through this one by promising him money, by opening up certain gates to him, because Satan he has many souls in his grasp, so he has many influential people that he can direct to your path, so that they will give you money, they will give you everything that you need to be able to pioneer the sound and spread the influence of the sound. So they will look for people that will help you make billboard, people that will help you advertise in the radio networks. Satan has a very strong network.
Very wide.
So you think sometimes some good you think it is the blessing of God, but it is Satan that has brought it, so that you will be able to consciously and deliberately release the sound. And so certain things that have been doing on certain days, because money has come now, you don't need to do it again. This is why we are doing ministry now.
Yes, the sound is silent.
So you must pay attention, because even some certain blessings are sound of certain spirit. When you immediately you accept the blessing, you just discover that I went through the history of many of these guys. Many of them were once church guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good and talented church guys. But because the network, there were no men to partner with God to release him to hold certain gates on the head. And so Satan, because he has a very strong network, he will say, this guy is talented. Let's take him to our studio. Release one sound. The guy is very good, but because there was no one to sponsor him, and there is a desire to be famous in his heart, then the Satan will look for certain persons who are influential, and they will say, let me protect him. And so he will put one sound in his heart. There was a sound from God within his heart before, but because he said, and every man is tempted when he is lured away by his own desire. So there are desires that will open gates to bring in certain spirits reality. So even when you are, so it is important that you pay attention to these things, because many of us, the way these things is going on now, I think we were talking in the first network then about how that it is. I was talking to Precious, how that graphic design will move from 2D to 3D to 4D. Then because Satan is deliberate about sights, things that you see with your eye, and so they will project certain things. It's just a picture, it's just a trend. You look at, you read it, you laugh, you watch the movie, you laugh. I think it was him I was telling now that the reason why many guys now are doing ritualism is because many of them are now posting to the internet how they are doing it. Yes. So they are seeing it. So now as they are seeing how people are posting how they are doing it, certain boldness will begin to come, and so the energy of the spirit will begin to find expression very well in his heart. Yeah. So we'll not be like a 12 years old will now see, because he has stayed online for a long time. He will now see that people are even posting it these days now. You see now that how 17-year-old are buying car and spraying money after cameraing it and putting it on the internet. They are seeing it. It's not bad now, and they are not dying. They did not die. So why can't I do it too? So there was a desire in his heart, and so Satan will make use of that desire to touch some certain things, and so you will begin to do it. So arts and sounds are very important. And the way it works is that even if you have sounds, without certain networks, your sounds, you will begin to feel like your sounds are not being heard. Because we have been made to believe that the sound that we release is only meant, if we are not famous, the sound cannot go where it's supposed to go to. But the reason for sound is so that the Father's desire will find expression here. So that there are certain kingdom things that there are certain persons need to come into the awareness of. It will take a long time, because we believers need to start building systems that can begin to bring potential men into this thing. So we need to build a network whereby how many Christian guys who are influential, how many of them used to organize, used to enter these trenches and bring out people and say, let me bring this one up too. We don't go out. The network of Satan is so strong that he goes into places and look for talented men. So he will not stay here. He will be going into places where fresh souls are, souls who have not been corrupted and perverted. Then he will now give you sound, because these people, there is a desire to release this sound. But because there are no networks to amplify their voice, because and Satan already has a network that can amplify voices, he will just introduce one of the network to you. So we are not being deliberate about this thing. How many people, how many arts workers are drawing out kingdom things? There are certain images that you will come into their window because you see the image. You just see the image and pass. A picture has been created in your mind. And so you go home, certain spirits begin to appear to you. I was saying it as this Jesus stuff that many people did. Although many of them just do it because they are doing it. But there is a picture that was created. So, but these people don't do it for one day. They don't do it as a trend. They do it consistently. So there is a network. This person will bring his own. This person will bring his own. This one will release it from this side. There is a quorum of men that have been placed in strategic places to release these sounds and these pictures. So one will be in America, one will be in Nigeria, one will be in Germany. It is a network, a connected, interconnected network. And because they are releasing the same sounds, their soul have conformed into one. And so when you see this one, I can pick this one out. It's my person. All of those things we now. But see, even many believers now are beginning to conform. Many of our influential guys are beginning to conform to this sound now. But what we don't know is that there are certain sounds that these people can hear when they come into our churches. How can someone who is releasing the essence of certain spirit enter your church and as you begin to worship, something is not happening to him? How? And it is one man, one person, one influential guy, you brought him to your church. And you are many as believers in the church. And as you begin to raise your hand in worship to God, you begin to worship as one, and nothing is happening to him. It should be uncomfortable because there is a sound that you carry. There's another that is being released from you as you raise your voice. There is a picture that is being created as you fellowship. This picture should affect it too. There are many men who do it, but they are doing it the wrong way. Because we have not really understand that we need a network. It is a network, a very strong network by which spirits release their civilization. There are men everywhere. And so if the sound that you are releasing is not conformed to the spirit, they will choke you off. Because it will cause a distortion in their network. And so certain potential men who have been singing the church, when they come, some of them, their first song will be good. But they will say that they will tell you, no, you cannot bring this sound. You have to tweak your lyrics. You have to change the way you sing, change the way you dress, change the way you do this, change the way you do that. Before you know it, many things will begin to change. I think I've said it here before. How that even skirts can become an access point to bring certain spirit civilization. Because when you see an influential person wear certain clothes, you begin to buy it. Everything that comes with satanic structure comes with the essence of Satan. And so when everyone begin to buy the shirt as strength, you begin to discover that you begin to reflect the thing that the person is reflected to. And so some certain guys gather and set their alliance. And they begin to do their hair in a certain way, do certain things in a certain way. It is a war of image. people are deliberate. You need to be deliberate. Everything that comes out from you must, your consciousness should reflect, because you are releasing an image. You are giving out the consciousness to the people. How many dance steps have come from Christians and everybody begin to dance? We need to consciously begin to pray and intelligently bring out systems and networks that can begin to, a quorum of men need to begin to arise and connect together to be able to bring out other potential men. The reason why Satan can say he will give Jesus the whole world is because he has a network of men everywhere. And so he has a network that is connected to men. He has influential men in certain places, and these influential men are in control of certain persons. So when this influential man is doing this thing, his fans will do it too. I know they tell you. These things must be deliberate. Connected. So I'm going to stop here. This is going to talk about the media. These things are connected. So is he going to touch certain things? So because these things are connected. I already told us how that every part of these tools are connected as one. Every part of these tools are connected as one. So the structure will release certain sounds. It will enter the family. It will release certain sounds. Even our religious spheres now are beginning to do certain things in the church. Because it is a war of sound. It's a war of sound. So we must come to that point where we begin to how can we trap sounds in God? Trapping these sounds and using these artworks and using these videos and using all of these things can be done by skillful men. So you need certain skills. You were saying this morning, you need to learn from certain persons, because these people, they have been able to trap certain intelligence. And so with this intelligence, you can use it as a tool. Because since this intelligence is able to lay hold on the souls of men, it means that intelligence can be used also as a tool to lay hold of the souls too. And so we must begin to learn. Hope you know that these guys, many of them stay in studio for days.
Yes.
For days, they are in studio. They are very good in music. They went to school to study music. So some of them even they study chemical engineering in school, but we still go back and study music. Because there are certain intelligence that you need. And because this intelligence have been documented in books, have been documented in men, you can learn these things and use them as a tool to release the sounds of God. So if your field is music, go to a music school, learn the way of music. So that when you stay in God and begin to fellowship, and as this sound come, because you have understand intelligently the way of music, you can begin to intelligently read the sound of God and hear those music.
Yeah.
So if your way, if what you have been called to is acting, you must check these guys. Go to a school where they teach acting, theater house, and learn the way of art. You need these tools. Because Babylon is always looking at intelligent men, potential men. Also, Zion is looking for intelligent men, potential men too. So many times the reason why you are not relevant is because you don't have the necessary intelligence to carry out this assignment.
Yeah.
So God will look for men who are prepared, who have been prepared. Many times he will release the sound to you, but if you are not a prepared vessel, you cannot bring out those sounds. So there is a place of preparation, and there are certain processes that have been laid aside to bring you into those intelligence. Those things are already existing. So God has given you the ability to be able to trap certain sounds as images, and so you know that you can write scripts. You need to study these people. How can you intelligently write scripts that will be enticing to the people? Sometimes you just look at some links online and you click on it. So what they will write there is what you will see inside.
Yeah.
The first picture they will put, you don't know what you will see inside.
Yeah.
And so when you click on it, they will first put a certain thing that you are attracted to. That you know that they have studied men and they have seen what they are attracted to. So the first two things that you will see are what men are used to. And so you have become comfortable. Before you know it, you watch the third scene, you watch the fourth scene, you watch the fifth scene. That is how you continue. So these men are not just men who just trap sounds in God. They are men who have intelligently learned the ways of men. Satan is skillful in the ways of men. He has studied men for generations, and so he knows what attracts men. He knows what pleases men. He knows how he knows loads of secrets of men. And so we need to begin to get certain educations. It is this education that will be tools that will aid us in releasing the sounds of God. So if God has been calling you must study geography, go to the school, learn these things, be good at it, be very good at it, gain mastery in it. It's when you have gained mastery that the Father will begin to release certain sounds through you. They are those things. You need certain tools. And you can get those tools by looking at certain things. And so I will stop here.
Question, please. I want us to understand.
It's the reason why the thing is connected. All right, questions.
So it is important that we consciously begin to worship the Father. And